Hello everyone, it's Daryl, and today I was wanting to talk about a game that I've been playing recently, and a game that I've noticed a lot of people have been playing, and it is called Schedule. or one, I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. Schedule is a game about dealing with illicit substances, I guess I could say. I've been wanting a game like this for a really long time that would just let you do stuff like this, and it's honestly everything I've ever wanted out of a game like this. Before I go into detail, I'd just like to say I'm really happy about having hit 100 subscribers. It's not like a really big number by any stretch of the imagination, but I am really grateful that 100 people enjoyed my content enough to just hit a silly little red button. And I would like to ask anyone who's watching this who isn't, could you please consider, hitting subscribe, like, and, the bell and all that if you want to see more content from me. If not, I understand. Anyways, let's get back to the video. So when you're at the start of the game, if you do the prologue anyways, you start out in a trailer and it gives you a pretty decent tutorial as to how you will care for the plants that you are growing. You even get to do a couple drug deals before you get busted, and then you have to drive off to a new town, which is where a majority of the game takes place. This game's pretty great when it comes to like making you feel like you're starting from the ground up, because you quite literally have nothing at the start of the game. A lot of the reason you're even able to start is because you have a relative who has contacts and he sets you up with one directly to get things started. And I gotta say, there's nothing more satisfying than actually getting your little operation set up from the start and being able to eventually afford a nicer room to do it in. One of my favorite parts of the game is like the fact that there's a curfew after a certain amount of time, meaning if like an officer sees you, you're immediately like going to be arrested on site. So you have to schedule your deals to either be around that, or if you're going to do that, you need to be really careful and you need to actually plan out your routes, look out for police, all that. And at a certain point of the game, you can get weapons in which if they come after you, you can just knock them out or even go as far as to delete them from living, I guess. You also very quickly learn that you need to build connections throughout the town to get into contact with dealers or suppliers for other substances you will eventually create, which is also really satisfying because you feel like you're really building a network. I'm only at the point of the game where I'm like getting closer to buying a better building than the bungalow, which is like the third one you can get. And I gotta say, I think I'm probably gonna play the game all the way through because it's just so satisfying to build everything up. You even get to eventually automate what you're doing in the like places in which you're growing and packaging. You even start learning that you need to like launder the money that you are making because you can only deposit 10,000 a week. And obviously if you're making more than that, you need to get it in there somehow. So like you have to launder your money through other businesses that you can buy, and some are better at it than others. Like the first one you get is a laundromat, which can only launder like $2,000 at a time, which isn't a lot by the time you get to where I'm at. I do want to sort of talk about how I found out about how this game exists, because honestly, a lot of the marketing done for it is through streamers playing it and other people just playing it and uploading clips about it. And I gotta say, I don't know if this was intentional on part of the developer, but it is working. Like, I noticed the game and I wanted to try it. I think the clip I saw was of someone doing like a trick shot where they used the trash can to fly, and then they landed and decked the fuck out of somebody. And in like seeing that, I just thought it was like the funniest thing ever, and that I had to try it for myself, which by the way, I did try it and I can't seem to get the hang of it. Overall, it's yet another surprising win for like the indie game market, because I've been noticing as of late, obviously everyone has, indie games are doing like really well right now, and it's probably because a lot of them feel like they just have more effort put into them versus these really big companies who are now currently trying to use like AI. Like I'm pretty sure Black Ops 6 themselves, like Activision was just saying, oh yeah, we used AI assets. So like they just admitted it. And you even have like EA trying to get people who are voicing for like Apex Legends to sign over their voices. So like they can use AI to replicate them, which is just really predatory because you're telling them they can't do the role anymore if they don't sign it, which by the way, they probably won't get to do the role anymore even if they do sign it. Like, they don't even disclose what they're going to use it for, and they won't even tell the actor. So, like, my question here is, like, do the actors get paid for it, even the stuff they're not informed about? If not, then this is just a violation of copyright. And, like, what do they have to gain for even signing it if, like, they don't get paid for it? Because, like, if they sign it, they lose their role to AI. If they don't sign it, they lose their role because they didn't want to sign their voiceover to AI, which would cause them to lose their role. Like, does that make sense to you? That's how stupid that is. I'm getting off track here, though. We're mostly here to talk about Repo. Repo? What? Schedule, because like Repo, it was also successful. I do recommend Schedule because it is a pretty good game and you will enjoy yourself playing it. And you don't even have to like actively be focusing on the game either. You could probably have a video in the background and it's just good to relax, which is ironic considering what it is. I can only imagine what future content updates there will be for this game if there are any and what the developer will decide to add. I'm looking forward to it honestly because they could do pretty much anything from here and it would probably be just as good since the base, like the core of the game itself, is so strong. Oh yeah, if you weren't sold on it already, the game does have multiplayer with up to 4 different players, so if you have a bunch of friends who are interested in the game, you can just join them on that, and it's a lot of fun, I imagine. I haven't played it with other people because I wanted to like the core of the experience, which would probably be just by yourself, and I like that, so I imagine that would be even more fun, because everything's more fun with friends, of course. And like I mentioned in an earlier video, if you have a bunch of friends who buy it, and never play it again, it is still fun by yourself, so you don't have to worry about the rug being yanked from under you, unless you are only playing it with the intent to play it with friends. I do want to ramble on about, the gaming industry as of late and how I'm feeling about it, because a lot of this channel is just my thoughts on things, and they're not always researched thoughts, so, at the end of the day, which I say that a lot for some fucking reason, I have a pretty, I guess you could say, interesting take on things, even if it's probably a lot of stuff other people are saying. It's honestly just baffling that like games like Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is a AA game, Repo, and Schedule are like beating out these big companies. It's like almost straight out of like a movie about putting it to the man, because like it's just crazy the amount of people who are like overlooking these really frankly terrible AAA games and like actually deciding to go to indie games and like AA games. Because I remember a time, and I'm not that old, I'm 21, but I remember a time in which like people wouldn't even consider these games because again they were either playing Call of Duty or whatever else was out at the time, like the Assassin's Creed, which by the way is a pretty big example of AAA games just getting worse as like time goes on, because they keep putting these big budgets on these fucking games that just aren't that good to begin with. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you pour into these games, if you're not good at making them, or you don't give a rat's ass about how they come out, then the money you put in isn't going to do anything except just make it more of a disaster when it doesn't work out. And right now we're at like a standstill where a lot of companies are trying tactics and seeing if they will stick. Like, for example, GTA 6 costing as much as it's, said to cost. Like, I think it's around $100, which I do not like because that sets a precedent that other games will try the same, because they can most definitely make their money back at 60 to 70, which by the way, it being 70 nowadays is crazy because like a lot of the AAA games that I'm talking about that no one wants to play are charging at 70, like, the $10 of added quality is there even though it isn't. You have the people who make like Ark Survival Evolved or Ascended, I guess, nowadays, making AI trailers, which like is embarrassing outright. Like they were smashed for it like instantly. They took it down, they hit it, and you could tell they were doing it just to gauge the reaction of everyone, which by the way, good job everyone for reacting the way you did, because like if we keep standing strong against AI and all that, they are not going to use it if it isn't profitable for them, because they'll know that it's not worth it, which is good because we as like consumers deserve better, and we deserve content that's actually made and has like care put into it, because AI, it does not, and all it does is just take jobs from other people. So at the end of the day, which again I say that a lot for some goddamn reason, we do need to stand against them because it is the right thing to do and it will just get us better quality product. We are ultimately responsible for the future of this field of like entertainment, because if we buy into these things and we just give up fighting against them, it will become the standard and a lot of people could lose their jobs, and overall we will get worse things over time. But I will say, not all is lost, because even if that were to happen, we have games like Schedule 1, Repo, and other indie games and AA developers to just catch us when we fall and give us the content that we actually want. Like, it is crazy to me that Warhorse made Kingdom Come 2, which is like one of my favorite games, even on like graphics alone. Like the game itself is also just really good. It's just happens to be beautiful. It looks better than like even games like Assassin's Creed Shadows and other modern titles. Like give that studio the resources of a AAA like video game and they would make like a masterpiece because they actually are smart with like the decisions they make and they care. Anyways, I'm done rambling for now. I just wanted to talk about how I felt about all these things real quick. You should go by schedule if you can. You should play it with your friends or by yourself. It depends on what you prefer or what you're able to do. To anyone out there actually considering buying the new Assassin's Creed because it's like the previous two, which I won't lie, I liked Odyssey, but I didn't like Valhalla. Just buy Schedule or Repo or like any other indie game. Like go buy Fear and Hunger. That's a game I like that I've been playing recently. Go buy any of those and you'll have an infinitely better time. Because like I said earlier, if you want good games, you have to buy good games. You can't keep putting your money into these mediocre pieces of like slop content. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to playing Schedule because I'm having fun with it. You should probably join me. Not literally, but you should join me in playing the game. Because if we buy games like that, then we'll show AAA developers what we actually want.